Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of the Sports Insight with your host Alamdar. And yes, as you know, give you sports information from all across the globe. You guys can surely reach out to us on our social media handle, which is at the rate of Indus New Sports. That works both for Twitter and for Instagram. But anyways, we'll go to the headlines first. And yes, from the world of golf, Olympic men golf competition is currently underway in Japan. And yes, from the world of basketball in Olympics, Spain win against Argentina 81-71, while Slovenia beat Japan 116-81 at the men's basketball Olympics. And yes, from the world of gymnastics, we're talking about America's Sunisa Lee taking the Olympic gymnastic all-round gold as defending champion Simone Biles watched from the stand. And yes, Britain's Bethany Shriver won gold in women BMX final, while Kyle White wins silver in men's race. And yes, those were the headlines and talking about what's truly happening in Olympics. Yes, a lot of different events are currently underway and we surely are bringing you all the information about it. And as discussed, obviously I'll start off with golf. Yes, we are talking about golf, and in golf, obviously the second round is currently still underway. But to discuss more of the in-depth and live statuses with regards to how things are, we have with us Matt Cooper. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So Matt, I'll put it this way. How is the second round of golf heading, and what exactly are the current scenarios in terms of the projection that, you know, someone out there is going to take that lead? Because obviously Carlos Ortiz actually was leading, but currently, you know, as it is live, so I'm sure there would be ups and downs in terms of how things are flowing, but I would want you to add and give us more in-depth analysis.
Yeah, I think that the big story of the second day is that the big names have made big moves. The first day was dominated by some surprise golfers, but in the second round, Xander Chopra has now moved to the top of the leaderboard. He shot a second round 63 that's taken him to 11 under and takes him one clear of Carlos Ortiz. And Xander Chopra is a fantastic golfer. He's representing America. He's got wonderful cosmopolitan background. His mother is Taiwanese and was brought up in Japan. His father was French, German. His grandfather actually officiated in the Olympic Games over 70 years ago. Wow. And Xander's father actually desperately wanted to become a decathlon, but injury prevented him from getting to the Games. So Xander's almost on a mission this week to sort of land a medal for the family that's been long coming. And a little bit further down the leaderboard, there are big names as well. Hideki Matsuyama, who of course is the hero of Japan after he won the Masters in April. He's 3 shots back of the lead. And another big name who made a move is Mcelroy, the former world #1. He's representing Ireland this week, and he's 4 shots back.
And what about Shane Lowry? Obviously, I think he's also pretty much in the close leaderboard perspective. And Hideki obviously is definitely a legend. I think after he won that Masters, things changed. People's vision changed in Japan in terms of pursuing golf. So how do you see Shane Lowry, and how do you see Hideki in further development? Because I think, as you mentioned, he's pretty close by as well. So how do you see developing for him? Because it would be easy for him because it's Japan, it's his hometown.
Yeah, well, it's been a very difficult few months for Hideki. After he won the Masters, he went back home to Japan, and it was a month of hysteria. He was on television. He was going around the country being feted for just what a magnificent achievement he undertook. But then the last month, he's not actually played any golf at all because he got COVID in America. He had to isolate for a bit, then he had to recuperate. So to actually get involved in the top of the leaderboard is a massive effort for Hideki, and it will be generating a lot of excitement in Japan. So I think for the tournament and for the golf competition specifically, it's a massive thing to have Hideki involved, and I really hope he stays in there and is involved in the charge for the medals. Shane Lowry is another interesting. He's a teammate of Rory McIlroy's. They're both sitting together on 7 under, 4 back of the lead.
Right.
And Shane Lowry is very interesting because he's become a much better golfer at the big tournaments, and he said that in the lead up to this event. He has a personal best at the Masters this year. He's had top tens in 2 of the majors. He defended exceptionally well his Open title at Sandwich a couple of weeks ago. And he also really likes tree-lined golf courses, and that is an apt description of this week's course. So Shane Lowry's a live threat going into the weekend.
Right. I would also want to talk about, as you mentioned, obviously the word COVID obviously is still out there. And if we look back into a few days back, obviously about Bryson DeChambeau, his situation of being COVID positive, and then Patrick Reed was also brought on board. And not only DeChambeau, but obviously we've heard John Ram going through that same situation again. So how do you see Patrick Reed's performance right now, and how do you see this COVID situation being taken care of in the world of Olympics these days?
Yeah, well, I think golf's been rather fortunate compared to other sports. It's been able to get back quite quickly. There was a period of lockdown last year, but they got back from that fairly comfortably. It's slightly unfortunate for John Rahm. It was the second time he's tested positive.
Right.
He was unable to compete and complete the final round of the Memorial Tournament when he was leading by 6 shots. He had to drop out, and then his response was fantastic. 2 weeks later, he went and won the US Open and said there was an element of karma there.
Right.
I don't know whether he'll be thinking what karma he might get from having to miss out the Olympics. Very tough on John Rahm. I think he would have done very well this week. Bryson DeChambeau may have struggled among the trees, but Patrick Reed's been playing really well, and that reflects very well upon him because he had no practice. He arrived just in time to reach his first tee time. So his performance has been fantastic this week. He's not on the top of the leaderboard, but he's got a chance of going for a medal at the weekend.
Okay, let's hope things sort in well for him. Also, I would want to talk about Colin Morikawa. What's your take on his current situation? Obviously, he's also out there, defending his name out there because obviously he's been struggling lately a lot in terms of his, achievements. But how do you see him developing his own current status with regards to golf in Olympics?
Yeah, Colin Morikawa's got a long career ahead of him. He's only 24. Just a magical sort of the start to his professional career. He's won 2 of his first 8 majors. Famously, most recently the Open. Fantastic performance there. But an interesting thing with Colin Morikawa is in that short career, if there has been one trend, it's been that after he has a victory, there's a little bit of a turn off of form shortly afterwards. That's happened every time he's won, actually. So perhaps no surprise that he's not right at the top of the leaderboard at the moment. But I think he's a superstar of the game going forward. It's still well within his capacity to have a late run for a medal. But I think probably future Olympic Games is where he's going to shine, and future major championships rather than the rest of this week.
Right, and obviously right now, as you were discussing, I would also wanted to ask about the participation. I'm not too sure if Phil Mickelson is still in the team, to be precise. Is he out there representing the country? Because obviously he, after winning, is also going through a lot of tough times in terms of trying to grab more of the medals out there. So is he on board right now?
Phil's not in the team. No. But his big aim for the rest of the year is to play well enough to get yet another Ryder Cup performance, and that takes place in September. Right. And I think that will be the big aim for him for the rest of the season. Like you say, he was absolutely fantastic at the PGA Championships, but I think the very fact that it was such a high that he reached in order to win that, it's been very difficult for him to maintain that. But the next month will be important for him. They're big money events, big qualification points events, and I think he'll be desperate to get on that team if he possibly can.
Yep, absolutely, Matt. And thank you so much, Matt, for being a part of the show and discussing the world of golf with us.
Pleasure. Yeah, that's a pleasure.
So that was Matt, and obviously he gave us an in-depth analysis on how things are flowing in the world of golf in Olympics. It is pretty much interesting to see how things develop. The round 2 is still underway. Let's see how things develop further by Sunday. Hopefully by Monday we'll probably have more information on what exactly happened. Anyways, guys, we'll take a quick break. Once we get back from the break, there is more news coming in from the world of sports. See you guys after the break. And yes, welcome back from the break. And yes, before the break, we were discussing the world of golf in Olympics. But not to forget, we give you sports information from all across the globe. Hence, we will be talking about the world of basketball. And to discuss the in-depth analysis, we have with us Lucas. Lucas, welcome to the show.
Hi, Alamdar. Thank you for having me.
Great. So, Lucas, I'll start off with Spain's victory over Argentina, 81-71. We'll start off with that, and obviously Spain, Slovenia now are headed to the quarterfinals. So we would want to hear your take with regards to how you see Spain's victory and obviously where are they headed now?
Spain looks great. They have been probably the most consistent nation apart from the United States in international basketball play, in particular the Olympics. Argentina has been another one of the very strong ones. They were the last ones to defeat the United States in an elimination game back in 2004. So I think this historically has been the two best nations outside the US for the past 20 years maybe. And yeah, yesterday was a clash of recent history in basketball with Pau Gasol versus Luis Scola playing in their fifth Olympics head to head. A bit of a gray hairs here and there, but Spain proved to be the better team. The Argentina started off well, I think.
Right.
They hold on to a good lead, but with the help of Ricky Rubio, which is playing the best basketball of his career, as he usually does in international play, Spain righted the ship and got a fairly fair victory, I would say.
Right. If we look back into history, we talk about Argentina. Obviously, they were 2004 gold medalist. So coming from there to this point, because obviously, and there's a big difference in terms of performance of the players, because it's pretty much everyone going for the gold for the country, if that's how it is. So how do you see this impacting them? And obviously, they will have to face the host Japan on Sunday as well. So how do you see that further developing for them?
Yeah, sure. I think there's no false illusions. They took the world by surprise when they had a fantastic team. Luis Scola is on both teams, and I think he'll be the first one to say that they are not quite playing for gold these days. They have the intake of young talent is not quite the same of that generation, headed of course by Manu Ginobili. So I don't think they would be playing for gold. They have Facu Campazzo, La Provitola scored 27 points, but he's an international player, not even an NBA superstar or a staple. So Argentina, I think they have their expectations set correctly, which is not playing for medals since that magical 04 run.
Well, let's hope all goes well for them. Anyways, I would also want to talk about Slovenia's victory over Japan, 116-81. That's a pretty intense lead if we look at how things worked for them. And Hachimura actually finished up with 34 points and 7 rebounds for Japan. So how do you see Slovenia taking that charge and going further ahead?
Yeah, Slovenia has now in the back of Luka Doncic. I don't know what more can you say that hasn't been said about Luka. It's magic, it's incredible, it's never seen before. In his first game in the Olympics, he just scored 48, so 7 points shy of an Olympic record 55. Then on the second one, he goes out and scores 27 without breaking a sweat, it seems so. Slovenia looks great. They were the European champions also in recent history with Dragic and the young Luka Doncic, so they have a good base in which to work with around Doncic. And then when you have Doncic in FIBA basketball, everything is possible, but because you will always be inside the game, you can always surprise your opponent. More often than not, you're going to have the best player on the field, and that can surprise any team. So I think Slovenia is showing up for the first time on the Olympics. They definitely can be a surprise, and they think of themselves as a gold medal, as a medalist contender, if not gold, bronze or silver. Japan, I mean, they are the host nation, so they are good enough to be in games, but I don't think to compete with them. You said very well, Rui Hachimura has been very good for them. He evolved quite a bit from the second half of the season with the Wizards. He's so long, He's gaining a lot of muscle on his body. His shot looks better by the day. Also
Right.
his defense. So I think a very good sign for Japan's future and also the Washington Wizards, of course.
Well, we surely would want to see better side of the host nation as well. But anyways, we would also want to talk about more about other countries that have actually been taking part. Would surely want your take on France because France won the last game 97-77, and before that they also won against the United States. And obviously I'll get there because United States finally managed to win one game. So what's your take on France? Because I currently see France as one of the solid contenders, and so is the case with Australia. So how do you see France moving further ahead in basketball?
France, I mean, sure, the France and Australia are probably two of the major contenders with the United States. We talked about Slovenia because they have Doncic and can't be ruled out. But France and Australia probably have two of the most complete teams in the tournament. We saw what France did against the United States. It's not that the United States played a terrible game. It's just that France is that good. And if they play that game 3 times out of 3 or 4 times out of 4, if they face each other on a medal game, you know that this won't be easy for the US. Nando De Colo is a year-in, year-out EuroLeague MVP candidate. Rudy Gobert is the Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA. So it won't be easy for the United States, because France now in all likelihood will qualify in first place, and the United States will have to settle for second place, where maybe they'll find Australia. And Australia, it's another team. It's one of those teams that, as we saw with Nigeria in pre-tournament, they can surprise the United States. They look beatable. They seem to lack a bit of leadership, maybe a pure point guard. And these teams that play together at the senior level for 8-10 years, they just go out there, and sometimes an American team that has been assembled for a couple of weeks just is not strong enough to beat these teams. That's the truth.
Well, I absolutely agree to that. But the point is, for instance, if we had brought in a singular team with regards to, if you talk about even if you say Milwaukee Bucks, if we brought in Milwaukee Bucks, I'm sure they would have played better. Or even the Suns, if we had asked them to come represent the United States, I'm sure they would have played better because of the fact of the gelling element, which obviously, as you mentioned, these individuals have spent their lives and obviously as a team, and they've gelled in, they know how to go by it. But it's going to be very interesting to see in the future how things may develop. But if we look into Nigeria itself, I think Nigeria has a pretty solid team. And the last match that they had with Germany, obviously it was pretty close by to each other actually. Everything changed in the last quarter. So the point is, and even if we look back into the pre-Olympics game that actually, exhibition match that actually happened, in which Nigeria won against the USA in USA. So that was also a major turn of events back then for everyone. And you know, I mean, everybody now also have their eyes on Nigeria as well.
Yeah, they will play a lot more tight games. Gone are the days of playing 30 and 40 points blowout when they show up in the Olympics, as some African teams used to happen back in the day.
Right.
Yeah, Nigeria will play a lot of close games. It will help their youth, their experience. I think they are not done adding players to this roster, because now the American-born players with Nigerian ascendants, they can see that this is a good opportunity for them as well, so can join the team in future occasions. And yeah, these are going to be some growing pains, lose some close ones, win some close ones, like they did against the United States, and keep improving each tournament so far.
Right. An interesting turn of events. Obviously, when we talk about the upcoming matches, obviously Iran is going to face France tomorrow, and Italy will be facing Nigeria tomorrow. Not only that, Australia will be facing Germany, and the United States will be facing the Czech Republic. Talking about Czech Republic, because we've not got there yet, how do you see Czech Republic's team? Because they're going to be facing United States of America, and now I think USA team has finally tried their best to let go of their superstardom and make it more of a gel team. So how do you think it would be there for Czech Republic?
I mean, it would be the shock of the tournament if Czech Republic beat the United States. I think this does not feel like a tournament for sure that the United States are going to run through the field and win every game by 30. At this point, France is in first place, so they will probably beat Iran. Even if they don't, they will make it through Group A. And then United States and Czech Republic each have one win and one loss. So winner takes it all. Whoever wins goes through the elimination stage, and whoever loses goes home. So, I mean, we can speculate the game all we want. In the end of the day, no one will predict that Czech Republic will beat the United States. So that would be definitely the surprise of the tournament.
That would surely be.
I'm not. Yeah.
No, I absolutely understand, Lucas. It surely would be a surprise, but you never know, because if they believe in individualism, I'm sure this is very much possible, because if Nigeria can beat the United States of America in USA, in Nevada, in the exhibition match, anything's possible. But anyways, thank you so much, Lucas, for being a part of the show and discussing the world of basketball with us. See you again.
Thank you, Alamdar. Thank you for having me. See you soon. Bye-bye.
So that was Lucas. Yes, he did give an in-depth analysis on what and how things are proceeding from the world of Olympics in basketball. But anyways, we'll quickly jump over to the next segment, which will be of gymnastics. If you look into gymnastics, all I would suggest and tell everyone that if you remember, if you look back, Simone Biles actually, opted out. But obviously she watched how the American Soncia Lee took the Olympic gymnastic all-around gold. She was sitting outside to support her. And why was that? It was only because of the fact she is going through mental health issues. And Brazil's Rebecca Andrade won the silver, and not only that, Russian Angelina won the bronze. So the point is, overall perspective, because a lot of people have been talking, and like I said, people have started bullying and using those terms, because there are a lot of people talking about Simone Biles, why backing out, because she was this close to the gold. But the point is, she's a 4-time Olympic champion, but I think she's going through her mental state of mind, and she probably wanted a break, and I think the audience, the fans, should do that, and let's hope all goes well for her in the future. Anyways, I'll quickly jump over to the world of Bmx Racing Olympics. Yes, I'm going to talk about the BMX racing in Britain's Bethany Shriver actually won the gold in the women BMX racing, and she actually saw off competition from defending champion Marina Pajon, and that is interesting. Why? Because the only difference they had, from the gold was 0.144 seconds. But anyways, this has been an interesting journey in terms of catching up with the gold in Olympics. Anyways, guys, this was pretty much it from the world of sports. If you want to reach out to us, you can on our social media handle, which is @Indus News Sports. That works both for Twitter and for Instagram. Anyways, till then, take good care of yourself, and bye-bye.